Welcome to the London Property Podcast, your go-to source for navigating the complex and ever-changing London real estate market. Our digital marketplace provides informative and educational content from industry leaders through podcasts and videos. We cover various aspects of the real estate experience, including buying and selling, finance, law, tax, construction, design, and more. Join us as we delve into the latest trends and developments in the market and gain valuable insights from our panel of experts.
Hello and welcome to London Property, home of Superprime. We are very excited to welcome Gary Hersham back to the show today. Welcome.
Thank you very much indeed.
So Gary, we're going to keep it brief because I know you've got back-to-back appointments and you were 45 minutes late for us. So tell me what's happening in the Superprime property market, over 20 million.
Well, I have to say, in the last 3 months, sales have been amazing. We sold a house for 48.5 million in December, a flat, as far as I recollect, for 35 or 35.5 million in Mayfair in December, various other things in the course of January and February, and we're marketing 2 of the finest homes in London where we have non-stop visits. So I think the top end of the market is pretty good nowadays.
And where would you say it's most happening in the areas that you cover?
It seems to me that Mayfair seems to have picked up a lot. There have been a lot of sales in the Mayfair area recently, particularly in Grosvenor Square. I see lots of sales taking place in northwest London, particularly in St John's Wood and Avenue Road. And of course, there have been some wonderful sales in Cadogan Square, in the Peninsula, and in Knightsbridge and Belgravia.
So who's buying these mega mansions? Because, you know, there was a time where you could buy these mansions, never use them, keep them empty, come 10 days a year and not have to be subjected to inheritance tax and capital gains.
Your question is who's living in these mansions? Well, your first question didn't refer to mansions. It referred to what's going on in the prime end of the market over 15 million. So I included flats as well as houses.
Yeah. But
if you're specific about mansions, then you're getting mainly Indians and Middle Eastern purchasers buying the mansions, as you put it. And having said that, apartments, particularly those apartments that are serviced by hotel operators, such as the Peninsula, such as 20 Grosvenor Square, are being bought by either Europeans or Americans.
So they're more lifestyle living where you don't have to deal with any details.
Is it more lifestyle living or is it more comfort? It's more comfort than lifestyle living, where people have that concierge service, the facilities, the building, the swimming pool, the complexes, the restaurants in the hotel, the ability to have your apartment cleaned and serviced by the hotel. That's what people are liking very much today.
And out of all these new developments that have come up over the last 10 years, like the ones you mentioned and the old War Office and so on, what are the really unique features that you've seen that is really new to market? You know, because we've all gotten used to having gyms and pools and swimming pools, but is there anything that's kind of really turns your head and you think, wow, someone really got creative here?
In terms of creativity, what I think is slightly different, not very different, but slightly different from the past, is that they give you reception lobby areas that you didn't have beforehand. So if you go into the Peninsula, you go into 20 Grosvenor Square, or you go into number 1 Grosvenor Square, you'll have a proper reception room where you can sit, where guests can sit and wait, or private meeting rooms. If you go into the Knightsbridge, for example, it barely has that. It barely has that. If you go into number 1 Hyde Park, well, you have that too, but it's nowhere near as grand and nowhere near as beautiful as the new buildings that are coming up today.
So it's sort of taking co-living to super-duper heights.
If you want to call it co-living, I suppose you could, but really what it is a very grand hotel lobby.
Okay. So what would you say is the biggest deal you've done in the last 6 months?
No comment.
No comment. And what about the most expensive rentals you've done?
Most expensive rental we've done is £85,000 a week for 1.5 years. And we're in the process of doing another rental where the rent will be on a smaller house, £2 million for the year.
Wow. And what kind of people are renting these houses? What are they here for?
Very rich people renting these
Obviously,
houses.
but what are they here for? What are they doing? Are they working? Is it school related? What is it?
It's either related to a property search. In other words, I haven't found my home, but I want to move into something straight away and I'll continue looking. Or I have found my home, it's not ready yet, I'm modernising it, and I need a house for a year or two.
And are you seeing any new wealth coming? Are there any areas in the world where you're seeing traffic that we haven't had before?
I haven't seen any new traffic recently.
So all the old tried and tested countries.
Of course, you've got the Indians, the Chinese, the Americans, some South Americans coming over. But there's not been what we were used to every year, an influx of once upon a time it was Israelis, once upon a time it was Scandinavians, another time it was Russians, and other times it was Nigerians. I'm not seeing any nationality sticking its neck out above the parapet more than anybody else.
And talking about Russians, we're seeing things happen in the marketplace where properties are being seized and coming onto the market. Are you finding that this whole sort of KYC element is having an impact on people's ability to hold on to their real estate when there's political problems going on?
As yet, no. In answer to your question, as yet, no.
And what is happening with the Ukrainian and Russian investors in London? Nothing?
There are very few Russian investors or buyers in London, as you're well aware. Ukrainians seem to have other things close to their heart they're dealing with at the moment rather than buying in London.
I didn't really mean the buying side. I meant the ones who already invested here. Are they having any problems?
I don't see any problems with Ukrainians who've invested here. There are no sanctioned Ukrainians. As far as Russian sanctions are concerned, you can't touch their assets, and they can't touch their assets. So we've seen very little on the Russian front.
Right, but I mean, what I'm trying to get at is with the Russians, for example, if they're sanctioned as a nation, or they're sanctioned specifically because they're who they are?
No, the Russians are sanctioned as individuals.
Yeah.
An individual and his immediate family can be sanctioned.
Yeah.
But you don't have a nation being sanctioned.
No, I'm not talking about it that way. I'm saying, like, I know that some companies...
Is there a bad taste in the mouth of Russians, and is there a bad taste in the mouth of English professionals in terms of wanting to deal with Russians? Yes, there is.
Yes, there is. I mean, I've heard of some big corporates actually saying, don't deal with any Russians, don't deal with any Ukrainians, which is quite a blanket approach.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, what do these people do if they've got houses that have mortgages, they want to rent them?
They have great difficulties.
They can't do anything, right? So there could be a time where some of these will be taken away by the banks.
That's entirely possible.
Okay. Anything else you want to share with us?
I'm delighted to be on your show. I'm delighted to be interviewed by you. You and I have been very good friends for many years. I hope it continues for a long time. Please come back whenever you want to. Thank you very much indeed. I just want to let you know that the London Property Platform has solutions to almost everything. Please feel free to ask your questions.
Thanks for tuning in to our latest episode of the London Property Podcast. Head over to our website where you can browse our exclusive network of top experts driving the market. As a member, you'll have direct access to our experts and their networks. Our award-winning content will help you choose the right professionals for your needs and make informed decisions about your investments. Personal recommendations are a powerful tool in connecting with trusted professionals. Let us introduce you to the right people to help you achieve your real estate goals. Contact us now to learn more about becoming a member and gaining access to these valuable resources, or joining our directory of experts.